there's an expectation that this anomaly that we've encountered is a representation of buried gold mineralization, just as it was in the case of Dockway North. So it is a very significant drilling target, and we need to now systematically test that as part of our ongoing programs, which ultimately will feed into the feasibility study for Dockway.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Ariana Resources Managing Director, Karim Sener. Karim, very good to speak with you. You're out with quite a bit of news over the past few weeks. Let's start with Zimbabwe. You've just announced a significant gold and soil anomaly near Dockway North. Tell us more about that.
Yes, that's some exploration news that we're really very excited about, simply because it's located very close to the Dockway North ore body. And the anomaly that we've encountered is a coincident arsenic gold anomaly, very much alike the one that we'd identified over Dockway North. It's located about 125 meters to the northeast of the Dockway North expected pit rim that came out of the pre-feasibility study. So it's very proximal. It represents one of the priority drilling targets for our upcoming program. So we're allocating a budget specifically to drill test that anomaly because of its significance. It's one of the most exciting discoveries that we've made on the project to date.
How big a game changer could this be for the project, Karim?
So what's interesting about this anomaly is that both in terms of the magnitude of the gold and arsenic response and the orientation of the anomaly, the partial overlap of the arsenic and gold, are very much akin to what we'd encountered at Dockway North. Now, in the case of Dockway North, that was drill tested ultimately, and a major discovery was made, and that sits about 1 million ounces in that optimized pit there. So we know that there's a cover sequence. So it's Kalahari sand, and then it goes into Karoo calcrete, and then into the Archean basement, which hosts the gold mineralization. And so there's an expectation that this anomaly that we've encountered is a representation of buried gold mineralization, just as it was in the case of Dockway North. So it is a very significant drilling target, and we need to now systematically test that as part of our ongoing programs, which ultimately will feed into the feasibility study for Dockway.
The detect ore technology seems to be playing a key role in your exploration, Karim. How is this improving your ability to identify new targets and reduce costs?
Yeah, so there's a direct cost saving. It's firstly cheaper to analyze using that technique. But in addition to that, the time saving is substantial. So rather than taking the time to collect the sample, preparing the sample for shipment, shipping it out of Zimbabwe, ultimately to a laboratory overseas for low-level soil geochemical work, which could take many, many weeks, if not months, before you'd get an analytical result back. We can get detect ore results within the space of 24 hours in the field. So what that enables is it's a massive shortcut. We're able to iteratively develop anomalies. So if we've identified, let's say, a single point anomaly in the field, the following day we can go back and collect further samples in the immediate vicinity and have those analyzed as well. And if those come back anomalous, then maybe decrease the grid spacing so that you can further refine what would become a drilling target. And that's exactly what we're doing with the work that's currently underway at the Dockway site.
Meanwhile, you're gearing up to start gold production at Tafshan later this month. What are the final steps before first gold is poured?
Yeah, so we'd completed the heap leach liners. So that process is now done. There's certain test work that needs to happen to ensure all seals are appropriately applied. There's a government inspections process, and that will be kicking off imminently. We're expecting that would potentially last a few weeks. And then all the test work, the cold commissioning test work has been done on other plant components. Hot commissioning is underway, and certainly we're now running ore through the crushers and screens. So all of that front end of the plant is working. There's some pipe work and installation of the pumps on the pregnant and barren ponds. That's still underway, but that won't take very long. So we're essentially operational as we reach the end of July, pending those government sign-offs.
You've completed 6,000 meters of drilling at Tafshan as part of that 15,000-meter program. Are you seeing signs that point to a longer mine life?
Yeah, so one of the things that we wanted to do was to both undertake some infill drilling in areas that hadn't previously been drill tested for conversion to measured resources primarily. So that's part of the drilling program. And then another part of the drilling program relates to extensional drilling. So continuing to drill test along strike towards the northeast, connecting the main zone to the what we call the northern zones. So that work is underway. The other area that we've tested is the south zone. The south zone had only had a couple of drill holes into it in the past and some rock chip data, but it was indicative that there was significant mineralization there. So that area has now been drill tested in part. The rig's now been moved around. So we've actually got two rigs on site currently, and there's an eastern zone that needs to be drill tested, which hasn't got any drilling in it to date. And once we've completed that work, again, on the back of some rock chip data and some much older drilling. So there's a few drill holes, very shallow holes that had been undertaken there, but no drilling undertaken by us, certainly, in the past. That area is going to be drill tested, and we're hopeful that that will yield a further extension to the resource as well. So, these things will just continue to be developed in the background as we continue the operations at Tawshan.
Of course, this all comes as you prepare for your ASX listing, Kerem, and they must be appealing to investors and new investors. Could you give us an update on the ASX listing, please?
Yes, so we're charting very well on that front. We're at the stage of the Pathfinder prospectus. We're now moving towards prospectus submission to the Australian Securities Investment Commission that we're expecting this week. They'll start their review process. That should take about 7 days or so. Then it goes to the ASX. There's a review process there. Once all of that is done, then we have to satisfy the various listing conditions, tick all the boxes on that front. But to a substantial degree, and working with our brokers on the fundraising aspect, we're making really good headway.
Kerem, I hope you'll keep us updated on progress on all of those fronts. Thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thank you very much, Stephen. It's been a pleasure.
Kerem Saner, the Managing Director of Ariana Resources.